We've been fascinated by flying cars, you know, in books and movies and TV shows. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Back to the Future, James Bond 007, Harry Potter, and of course the Jetsons. The Jetsons was on in the 1960s, and all the technology in the Jetsons has come to fruition except the flying car. I've moved from a skeptic to a believer. I've moved from the basic question of if it will happen to the more immediate question of when.
As a private pilot and aviation enthusiast, as well as a car aficionado, Tim became very interested in the now fast-growing, yet little-known start of an entirely new industry in mobility, that of electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, also frequently referred to as passenger drones or flying cars. Tim is the author of the just-published book, Dude, Where's My Flying Car?
It's been #1 new release in automotive and aviation, transportation, mass transit. It's my first book, so I'm pretty proud of it. I'm a real believer that you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. Cycles evolved to motorcycles and eventually evolved to cars, and arguably because of Orville and Wilbur Wright, planes. If we ever had a time machine, the time period that I would want to visit is that 1900 to 1920 time period. There were 2,000 automakers trying to get their start right here in the US. They were starting in livery stables and blacksmith shops and backyards. Fast forward 125 years later, there are fewer than 25 automakers that produce 98% of the cars around the world. Like bicycles were precursors to cars, drones are really precursors to flying cars. They've done amazing things with drones over the last 10 years. Why would Amazon or Walmart want to deliver packages by drones? For all the problems in automotive, traffic congestion, traffic fatalities, traffic injuries, time, and emissions, because they're all electric. Well, are these drones safe? Well, yeah, if they were falling out of the air, we'd be reading about it in the paper. There are over 200 companies trying to get started with flying cars. There's 22 chapters in the book on 22 different companies. There's also a chapter on the top 10 most likely to succeed. I've moved from a skeptic to a believer. I've moved from the basic question of if it will happen to the more immediate question of when. And it's because of where the investments are coming from. Aircraft manufacturers like Boeing, Airbus, Embraer, and Bell Helicopter, airlines like United, Delta, American, and JetBlue, and automakers. And they're teaming up. Ford, Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, BMW, Cadillac, Mercedes, and Stellantis. The first ones you'll see are ones that will be used as flying taxis. This is one I want. Appropriately called the Jetson 1 jetpack. The 1 designates it's a single passenger unit. You could land this in your driveway, park in your garage. You want to go to the mountains, throw it in the back of an F-150 or a Ram pickup and take it to the mountains. These 3 are the top 3 most likely to succeed. Wisk, Archer, and Joby. This is Archer Aviation. They got approved by the FAA as an airline. Look at how different each of these look. You can go to a car show and all the cars look a little bit alike. You go to a eVTOL show and they all look different. eVTOL, vertical takeoff and landing. They'll take off and land like a helicopter, but when they're in the air, the props rotate to fly like an airplane. You're looking at highways that are bordered by shoulders and all kinds of landscape. When you get in the air, you've got multiple levels. Every 500 feet, you could have a corridor.
Tim, thank you very much for joining us. We certainly appreciate the fact that we know a lot more about VTOLs than we did before.
Came here a skeptic, and you've convinced me that this is going to happen.